Okay, this is actually part 2 of 7th grade 6.2. This is just, today we're going to be working with triangular prisms. So I chose to split this out into 2 different pieces. So the key thing is on a triangular prism, you only have 5 sides versus on a rectangular prism, you had 6, sorry. And the reason being is when you look at your base of your prism, your base is going to tell you how many lateral surface areas you have. So because that base only has 3 sides, because it's a triangle, that means you only have 3 sides that make up the lateral surface area. Remember, this is your lateral surface area. It's those pieces that connect your 2 bases. Okay, so that's what makes a triangular prism different from a rectangular prism. So we're gonna go ahead and piece apart the first few times. We'll maybe draw a net, and then from there, we're just gonna go ahead and practice doing rectangular prism without a net. So the key thing is it's 5 pieces. So you have your 2 bases. So I've identified those as base 1 and base 2. Those are exactly the same. And then you've got your 3 pieces that make up your center. Now, sometimes when you're working off a 3-dimensional figure, that's kind of hard to see. So until you get more comfortable, being able to look at the net sometimes helps with that. Okay, so when I look at my bases, remember those are the shapes that make up, if I were to go through and be able to cut this like bread, the shape that I would get all the way through is a triangle. So the key thing to remember whenever you're working with a triangle is that the 2 sides that you need to use are the sides that make up the right angle. Because on this triangle, I really have 3 sides here. Okay, I need to use this side here and this side here because they are making up the right triangle. So if I do, remember a triangle is base times height, and we're gonna divide that by 2. So 3 times 4 is going to give me 12, divided by 2 is going to give me 6 for each of those. So my area for each of my bases is 6. Okay, now I have sides. So I've got this green side here that's actually 3, and then the height is 6. Okay, that's this one right here, 3 by 6. Okay, so 3 times 6 would give me 18 for this. Okay, my next side that I can physically see is this one that's right here, and that dimension is 4 by 6. And I can see that on my 3-dimensional figure. I can also see it on my net. 4 by 6 is 24. Okay, and these are rectangles, so I don't have to divide by 2. Okay, then I also have this shape that's actually can't see it. It's sitting in the back. So it's sitting back here. And it's really, really hard to see when it's laying this way. So it's easier to see here. It is 5 by 6, which would give me 30. The way that I do it without doing the net is I look across here and say it's got to be 5 and the same height of 6, which gives me 30. Okay, final step is to add all of these together. So this one, I do not do the times 2. Why? Because I do not have every side that's exactly the same. I really only have 1 in most cases, and those are my 2 bases that are the same. So it's just best practice to add all of these individually. Of course, you can use a calculator to add them together. You could chunk numbers as you go also. Like I'm visually seeing 12 here plus 18 would give me 30. And then plus 24 plus 30, so 60 plus 24 would give me 84. That's me just trying to do it in my head. Of course, you can use a calculator. My units was meters, and it's surface area, so it's squared. Okay, so that's working a triangular prism. Very similar. There's a couple things that are different. Okay, we can't go through and do the times 2 like we could on the other. Okay, so let's go ahead and try another one. Okay, so we've got our shapes of our triangles on the end. So I'm going to draw a net. Let's shift this over. I'll go ahead and draw a net for this one. I'm not going to do a net for every single one. So I have a triangle that looks like this. And to me, the net just takes more time, and it's hard to do. And so then I've got another net that's pointing down this way. Okay, act like those look the same. My dimensions on those, well, this looks like it's 5 here, and this is 6. Okay, so then I've got working off of that, I have a middle section that's right here. So I'm going to do it as this bottom piece that's 6 by 7. Okay, so that's 7 by 6. Then I've got this piece here that is 5, because that's 5 by 7. So 5 by 7. And then I've got the same size over here that is 5 by 7 across back there. Kind of going off of my screen. Okay, so it looks something like that. Okay, so I've got a 5 by 7, which is 35. That's one of my lateral. These are all my lateral surface areas. Okay, so that's 35. I have another one that's 35 that's on the other side. You can't see it fully here. It's 35. And then I've got this 6. I'll do it in a different color. 6 by 7, which is 42. Okay, so then my base is a triangle, and take note that on this triangle, they do have, I'm going to erase all this stuff. They are giving us this red line right here to represent the height. So base and height, here's my right angle. So those are the two numbers that I have to use. So the height is 4 times 6 is 24 divided by 2, because it's a triangle, gives me 12. So each triangle is 12. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add all of these together. 12 plus 12 plus 42 plus 35 plus 35 gives me 136. Dimensions are meters, and it's squared because it's surface area. Okay, triangular prisms are a little more complicated than a rectangular prism, just because it's hard to usually see that fifth side, and that triangle you have to remember to divide by 2.